What's up, guys? Adam here, Splendid Sports. Dylan, Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. We're back for another Turn Back the Clock episode, this being number 33. How's it going, Dylan?
It's great, Adam. It's good to see you again. I know we're lagging on these turn back the clocks, but you're really busy. I'm busy, but you've been extraordinarily busy. So, we like to do these when we have time and it's fun for us. So, I'm excited to talk to you about cards again.
Absolutely, man. And I am excited to talk to you, to live vicariously through you this year because I'm not going to the National. I went last year. We had a great time, but you're going this year. So part of what I want to do on this episode here is talk about that, talk about the National, what you're looking forward to, what you might be targeting, your plan. I know you're not someone who has like a detailed plan a lot of the times with these type of things. You kind of go with the feel, but if you do have any plans or any intentions for cards to pick up, maybe we could talk about that, or just anything about the National coming up here. What is it? When are you flying out? Is it a little over a week?
Yeah, I leave. I get there Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. I think it's the 24th or something. So I'm really excited this year because I have much easier flights. Even though I think it's technically further, my flights are only 12 hours, like total travel time there and back. So I don't have this like, dude, last time it was like it was ridiculous. This time I got 12 hours there of travel time, 12 hours back. It's going to be a cakewalk. So I'm excited about that. And then last year, um, since it was both of our first nationals, it wasn't, maybe, I guess I was a little nervous too, but I couldn't let myself enjoy it nearly as much as I'm going to be able to enjoy it this year because I was really we were pushed for time and trying to talk to everyone that we haven't met and try and have conversation with everyone, but it's impossible. And sometimes you get locked in talking to people that you really wanted to talk to somebody else, but you're talking to this other person, which isn't bad. But when you're only there for a small amount of time and it's the first time, you want to talk to everyone.
Right.
So it's like the struggle. This time, I'm going in with no plans. Last time I had to do something and I ended up backing out anyways and I felt bad, but I'm not going in with any plans. And last time I had an emergency phone call after the second day of someone in my family had to get rushed to the hospital in the ICU. So I was literally miserable for the last 2 days. My mind wasn't there. I didn't get to enjoy the nights. I didn't drink the last couple of days and like hang out. My mind was somewhere else. I felt like I needed to be home. I was sick. It felt sick to my stomach. The first 2 days were spectacular. Best days of my life. But I'm hoping that this time I don't have those random phone calls that just make my life miserable. I couldn't change my flight because it was too late. It was just too much. It's ridiculous where I come to change a flight. You change like 3 flights.
Right.
So this time I'm really hoping for that experience where I'm totally in it. I don't have to think about home. I don't have to think about anything going on at home. Everything's running its course over here and life's a little more leveled off. Things are still going on, just like in everyone's lives, but I think I'm going to be free mentally to experience it. So how did you feel about the last year's trip to the National being the first time?
Yeah, and for me, same thing. First National, but really first big card show for me in my life. I'd never been to any of these, even like mid-sized card shows or anything. I'd just been to like, maybe like a flea market or a mall card show when I was younger. But I went to a lot of card shops, but had never attended a real big card show. And this was the biggest one ever, for the first one last year in Chicago. So I didn't know really, what to expect. And it was the same thing. It was a great time, but I was even there less than you. I came in on Wednesday night and I left on Saturday morning. So I only really had, 2.5, maybe 2 days, 2.5 days at the show. So I didn't have a ton of time either. But to your point, yeah, it's tough because there's so many people, when you've been doing this podcast, YouTube for multiple years leading into that, where, you've met all these people, but you really haven't met them. And then you meet in person. And there was so many people that I was happy to meet, but also people that never got a chance to talk to that I would have loved to. So in a way, I'm kind of thinking that's going to be a big benefit to you this year as going 2 years in a row now. You've met a bunch of people already there'll be some new people you meet, but it's not going to be like all new. You know, you'll be kind of catching back up with some people, and it will probably be less of an overwhelming experience, I would think. But yeah, it was a great time. I definitely want to go to another national. It won't be this year, but man, it's a great time. What do you, as far as like on a card perspective, do you have like a list, or are you no list, or what do you plan on? Or are there cards that you don't want to say? You want to like not spill the beans yet?
I thought about not spilling the beans, but to be honest with you, I'm open. I'm an open mind. I'm an open book. I don't know what I'm going to run into. I don't have a budget, meaning like if I have the card at home and it's not like, I have a lot of cards that I'd still like to downgrade, but upgrade the eye appeal, hopefully downgrade the grade. I have plenty more like that of bigger cards. So if I blow my wad on one giant card, I'm still going to be able to buy cards because I can buy duplicates, and that's like a wash. As far as like big giant targets, if my dream card is there, I'm ready and willing to buy it. And that would be the 1933 Goudey Babe Ruth number 144.
Yeah.
If I magically come across a 1 or a 2 that just fits my eye and it just strikes me, I will pull the trigger. And I will have to sell cards when I get home, but I don't care. I'm going flying across the whole country. I'm not messing around this time. Like I learned from Adam Vintage Sanctuary last time. After I saw what he purchased, the Joe D rookie card, the Goudey heads up, it blew my mind that I could even afford that card. It was never in my thoughts to even look up that card. I came home and I searched for that for 6 months and I bought one because I realized in that moment that I need to, I need to open my mind to these cards that I never thought were possible, because they are possible. You just have to relinquish some cards maybe you have, or save up the whole year for the national. But I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. I'm going in there and I'm going full blaze. Like, give me one big giant dream card, whether that's that Goudey Babe Ruth or the Goudey 1935 4-in-1 Babe Ruth. That one would be huge. And if I do get that, I could get another. I would love to get a Lou Gehrig 33 Goudey, the batting one. I don't know what number that is. The blue one. I think you have that.
No.
Oh, you don't have.
Nope.
Those 3 cards would be the pinnacle. And then I would like to, if I ran into the 52 Jackie Tops, Eddie Matthews 52. I'm on the hunt for anything in the 50s and 60s that's got good eye appeal as well. I'm not scared to spend money and come home and sell some cards that I know I can sell. And I'm gonna spend money, and I'm also gonna be jumping in these dime boxes and dollar boxes, and trying to check boxes of my Bowman Chrome, Topps Finest, Topps Chrome runs that I'm trying to do, and these gold refractors or refractors. I'm trying to complete those, and I think there's going to be a good opportunity if I have time, and I've already picked up a big card to sit in those boxes. And what I'm really looking forward to is, last year I stayed in a hotel room with Adam, Vintage Sanctuary, which was an absolute blast. But this year I'm going to be immersed with 10 to 12 people at the Misfits house. It's going to be crazy. We're going to be drinking all night. We're going to be like talking baseball cards 24 hours a day. I'm going to be completely immersed with these guys who love baseball cards as much as me. Not that Adam didn't. But it's going to be a completely different experience, because me and Adam were on different time spans of like when I'm taking a nap. Like I went and took a nap, and he would take a nap, and I would be drinking. He wasn't drinking, and then you're hanging out with one person, so you can only talk so much with one guy. Where this, it's like it's gonna be like the hangouts, like the first night where we sat at that table with Mangini and Rick and everybody. And that's going to be every single day. So it's not going to end. And that's what I'm like.
All right.
So, it feels like Christmas to me.
Who have you guys determined who's gonna like share a room with each other yet, or is it just like whoever gets there first gets to pick the room, and like is it first come first serve?
Look, unless they have a secret text thread going, I have no idea. No one's talked about that on a text thread. I'm like the new guy on the block as far as being invited to stay with all these guys. So I don't care where I sleep. I'm bringing headphones. I'm bringing earplugs. I'm bringing my nose strip so I can breathe. Some of these guys probably have some snoring issues, I'm sure. But it's a pretty fit household. Like all these guys I'm staying with, they're pretty fit. Like we're going to be playing some baseball in the backyard, some wiffle ball. And I'm telling you, like, and George Diamond Yard staying in our group. And if you guys don't know, he's like Mr. Eye Appeal on baseball cards, and he is a dealer as well. He's not dealing at the National, but he's bringing a bunch. So there's a good chance that I spend, a couple $1,000 just sitting in the house drinking right there, not even at the show. So it's going to be a good time, and just the headspace for me this year is going to be completely different. Last year I went knowing something could go wrong because of what was going on in my family at that time, and something drastically did go wrong. So I didn't talk about it much but it was, I really, after the second day, I felt sick. I just wanted to be near my wife. So it's going to be, I'm like on cloud 10 right now.
All right, because I'm picturing like, okay, I'm seeing it happen. All right, you get in there Wednesday, you get to the house. All right, you're going to go to the show Wednesday, right? Or no?
Yeah, Wednesday. No doubt. Okay. Absolutely.
So Wednesday night, I feel like it's going to be a long night for you guys. Because you're meeting all these people that you haven't met in person yet. You're in the same house as 12 other guys. Let's say you guys don't get a lot of sleep. Are you going to be all right the next day? Thursday's a long day, and then you got the get together Thursday night. Man, I know me. I need sleep, even in these situations. So I don't think I could swing what you're swinging and still like be myself. But I give you guys a lot of credit that you can do, because I know a lot of these guys have done it before, where they, for 4 nights they're in a house together. I couldn't do that, man. I couldn't do that because I need my sleep.
Well, I've been on a lot of surf trips with guys for weeks on end, living on boats and stuff. And, dude, I'm good at regulating like my partyness. Like I know when to drink alcohol. I know when to drink water. I can pace myself because these guys are like professional. A couple of them are like professional drinkers. I mean, I need sleep too. So I won't be up past 3 a.m. There's no possible way. I will put my headphones in and I will lay down and go to sleep at some point. That's the biggest thing I'm nervous about, is like regulating the whole like funness. Cause you can get like so exciting where like everyone's doing shots and I'm like, I don't do shots. So I'm like, no, I'm going to sip this. And then I'm going to move to this. And then I'm going to sip this. I want to be able to just I want to be buzzed like for like 72 hours, So,
yeah, because you don't want to wake up that next morning and just feel terrible, because you got the best card show in the world to go to, I mean, not to take the fun away. I mean, but yeah, that I would think about that would be my dilemma, is like, it's going to be a challenge to like get enough sleep where you can be all day at the show, without being exhausted, and then have enough energy to go to the get-togethers at night and stuff. So it's that's going to be a challenge right there, because there's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of cards. Are you going to try to make any videos while you're there, or are you going to save the videos for when you get back?
Well, I'm definitely going to make at least one. I'll definitely do some lives.
Yeah.
But I got to make one just for tax reasons, because I've been officially a business for my card. So I can write off the entire trip as far as, food and plane tickets. Just do a video. Then I was there. And I got to write off my, my $30 a month I make on YouTube. So this will help offset the cost of me playing with my baseball cards a little bit.
Yeah.
Gosh, man. Yeah, it's gonna, I think things are going to be just insane. There's a couple guys I don't even think drink that are at the house. So it's going to be a good level playing field. I don't want to throw up. That's like the number one goal.
Yeah.
do that about once every couple of years now. It used to be like once or twice a year. You know, you get with your buddies and you start pounding stuff.
Yeah.
I think that I'll be able to go without throwing up. That's the goal. Like, keep
It's that
eating.
first night. The first night's the challenge because you just get in, the excitement is through the roof. Oh yeah, we're here. You know, that's when you gotta be careful. I want to go back to the cards because that's one of the things I was going to ask you. It sounds like, you know, as far as what you're targeting, it's kind of like, I think this is what the way I would be too, is if I was at that show, I'd be going like on the low end, like dollar box, $10 cards, $50 cards, you know, maybe some modern stuff that I collect that I come across in a bin or whatever, low dollar stuff. Probably not much like in the middle, like maybe not a lot of, like last year, I feel like a lot of people were targeting those $500 cards, maybe $1,000 card, couple thousand, right? But then you're talking on the high end, we're talking Babe Ruth, the Babe Ruth card, the 52 Jackie Robinson. So it's kind of like you got your eyes set on the big game, and then also like still have some fun, be able to buy some cards, but maybe not go after the 52 Bowman Mantle you got, stuff like those type of cards that are in that range where if you get a few of those, then it becomes tough to get that big one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the number one thing. Like, I need to hold myself back. Like, Adam was like the perfect Adam Vintage Sanctuary. I just give him so much credit because he kind of opened my eyes towards these cards, whether it just dumb luck that it was him and not anyone else I was hanging out with, but he stuck to his guns. He didn't buy a card until he found that big one. And I'm definitely going to buy a card the first night, no matter what. I'm going to break the seal, whether that's a $5 card or the Babe Ruth the first night. I don't know, but I am definitely I definitely want to go big game hunting before I buy a $500 baseball card. Because last time I bought a Satchel Paige 1953 Topps, the first day, I think I only bought 2 little small cards, but the second full day, and not that I don't love the card, you know, and I'm so glad I have it, but it really hit the budget when once I found my buddy Adam bought a $3,000 card. I was like, well, I don't have $3,000 anymore. I traded for that mantle. The only reason I got that mantle is because I had a bunch of cards and I traded. And that is something I'm doing differently this year. I'm not bringing cards to trade. I'm not going to waste my time going to the dealers last year, every dealer, and trying to trade these cards. Only one dealer traded with me last year. It was extraordinary, but I want to just I have a whole bunch of cards listed on eBay right now at auction. Started at 99 cents. I got like 60 cards. So that'll definitely give me a big chunk that I can spend. And then I'm bringing a chunk that I can spend. And the rest can just go on credit card. Not that I pay off my credit cards every month. So I'm just going to buy what I see that I like. If I like it, I see it, I want it. It could be anywhere from pre-war to 2024 Topps. I collect everything now. So I'm going into this with a full-blown open mind. But yeah, big game hunting is my number one. I flew across the country. I want a giant card to go home with and just feel that, right?
And I feel like Wednesday might be, to your point, that's a good opportunity when you get in there early Wednesday, whenever the show starts. If you're looking for, because I know you're looking for an eye appeal, low grade eye appeal. Those probably don't last too long, I think, at this show, right? So like maybe that first day is when you got to really pounce on some of those that you see, because they probably won't last till the weekend even, or maybe even Friday. So
yeah, I agree. And you know what I noticed last year as well is with the regular Topps cards, the center Topps cards, a lot of guys that aren't on YouTube don't care one bit about centering. They don't know that there's like a centering thing going on. You know, they might see some auctions on eBay and wonder, why the heck is that going so high?
Right.
But most people aren't keen to that. And a lot of the dealers still aren't really keen to that. And so I picked up a lot of $200 Topps, like Epic, like got a Yaz rookie last year to replace the ones that I sold. I got quite a few, you know, probably 4 or 5 perfectly centered, and I paid below comps. You know, I didn't know at the time, but later I looked and I was like, wow, I got a great deal on these. They didn't have these extraordinary price tags on these lower centered cards. So I don't think centering is that giant of a thing. if you're not on YouTube or Instagram, I think it's still kind of under the radar, so to speak. I think some of the dealers are keen to it, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to try and bullseye straight to some of these tables that I remember going to later in the day last year and being like, dude, I should have came here first. This is where all the grail cards are. I want grail cards. I want the iconic cards. That's the better word. I'm looking for the iconic stuff. I don't care if it's boring. I don't care. I want the Tris Speaker, T206. I want a Walter Johnson, Ty Cobb. So I could go home with any one of those guys, and I'll be happy.
But I felt the same way because last year I brought a stack of cards, like some modern stuff that I thought would play well, like with trade value and stuff. I figured, like, you know, with stuff I'm going after, you know, I had like a, you know, Jokic rookie card, the PSA 10, you know, and he had just won the championship. So I'm thinking, hey, man, you know, and I had some other stuff too, some high grade stuff. I was thinking, man, I'll probably be able to get some good trade value for that. I wasn't even looking to sell them. I was just like, if I see something I like, maybe I could offer that and take down the price or whatever. But no, man, no one was willing to do any of that stuff. So I think that would be something different I would do this year if I was going, is I wouldn't bring anything. I wouldn't bring any cards because it just took up space in my backpack. You know, and it was like I could have used that space for something else, especially if they weren't gonna. And I know you did more on the trade night thing. I don't know. That's not for me, the trade night.
I mean, I had an absolute blast trading at the trade nights in the hotel room, sitting on the floor, the random dudes. I was trading all my Ohtani rookies back then. I had a whole stack of them. I was trading Ohtani rookies for Willie Mays and Sandy Koufax cards. Like, they're like base cards going out of style. I still came home with like 9, which I wish I would have, you know, I had offers. But that was when they were like, he was on fire at that time. And it was like I was getting gangbusters out, and I've sold all those since, except I have a couple listed. But with all that said, I don't have those opportunities this year because I'm staying in a house. I don't see us going to these hotels and doing these trade nights.
Right.
And I'm gonna be, you know, who am I gonna trade these cards with? Like all my friends, I guess. But I really want to just go cash on hand, credit card ready, PayPal ready, Venmo. I'm ready to go, man. I'm going guns blazing. I want the biggest card I've ever purchased in my life to be at this national with all my friends. Dude, just fired up.
Man. I'm excited for you. You know what? I wanted to also get your take on this. So I saw this on Brothers Duo with Iconic Al and High Pop Professor Brian. They do that show together. And one of the things they mentioned was, I guess when you sign up, I think I remember this too. When you buy a ticket for the National, you know, they ask you a few questions, like survey questions. And one of the questions is, what cards are you looking? What cards do you collect, or what cards are you interested in? Something like that. And they basically gave like, all right, pre-war, you know, vintage, and then it was like, and then it was up to like 1980 or something like that. But and then they went from like 2012 to this, and then like 2017 to ultra modern, and like they didn't even give an option for mid 90s and 2000s cards like you and I like too. So it's almost like that's not even something that they even think about as a thing that people collect at the National. So and I didn't see much of those type of cards at all last year at the National either. I know Brian and Al were saying the same thing. What do you think about that?
First and foremost, my roommate last year, Adam Vintage Sanctuary, he bought a Barry Bonds 1993 Topps Finest refractor last year.
That's right.
At the National. Of all the guys in the entire YouTube community, all of our friends, he's the very last guy I thought that would come home with a card like that. I wasn't collecting them in that time. I thought it was such a sick card. He showed me. I was like, dude, that is so sick. Oh my gosh. But I never would have thought it. So they're there. And I think them poo-pooing it is crazy because obviously the 90s are gigantically popular. I don't understand why. I mean, you can just see it in the prices. The prices deem the fact that 90s are hugely popular on YouTube everywhere. People collect 90s cards.
And
They're
not just 90s, they skipped all the way to 2012. They skipped
It's
over the
crazy.
2000s. They skipped over all those awesome cards and from 2000 to 2000, like 2012 or whatever it was. Yeah, it's just nuts.
It just doesn't make. I mean, that's just whoever was putting that together. I don't know what they're thinking, because 90s is giant. 2000s I think has yet to see the sunlight. Like, nobody still collects 2000s. But 90s, there's so many 90s collectors. I think that Brian is going to find plenty of it at the show. I think there's going to be tables full of it. And if not, the dealers have them and they're sitting there. I mean, PMGs, like, I don't know anything about them, but I know those are some of the most popular cards in the entire hobby. You say the word and people know, they're like, oh yeah, those are big cards. Those are expensive cards. So for them not to mention it, that's just dumb.
Or even just like 96 Topps Chrome cards, first year Topps Chrome, or 93 Finest. Like, I just didn't see a lot of them. I mean, that's awesome that Adam found that, but walking around, I didn't notice a lot of them. I guess I maybe didn't hit every table, but it just felt like it was either like ultra modern or vintage or even some pre-war, but it was all like Mickey Mantles or Lucas. Basically, it seemed like at the show. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. Here's how when I go into a show, since I never go to shows because I live on an island. When I'm going to a show, like, my number one goal is vintage, because modern, you can go on eBay at any time, and a PSA 9 is a PSA 9. Like, you don't need the card in front of your face to know that you're buying 8s, you're buying 9s most of the time, and 7s at the lowest, basically, in modern. Where vintage, the stuff I'm collecting, I want, man, to see it in the flesh is so much different than on eBay, because you're looking for creases, you're looking for wrinkles. You're not looking for creases and wrinkles on a modern card. And even if you're looking for scratches on a modern card, if you buy it graded, you don't need to look for scratches. The grade is what it is. So for me, going into a show, I'm absolutely just strictly looking at vintage. Now, I definitely be in boxes. I'll ask you, either Aaron Judge's here, Mike Trout's. I will be going to, Hideki Matsu's, but that's if I already found my grail and I'm down to $500 and I just want to sit at a table for a long time. But for me, I want to just stick to vintage, because seeing vintage cards in the flesh is way easier. You're not going to buy a vintage card in the flesh and then get home and decide you want to sell it. You're going to buy it in the flesh, and that's your forever card. Where on eBay, I could buy a vintage card and it looks so great on eBay. It looks so great in the photos. Even the PSA website looks great. You get in the flesh and you see something and it bothers the heck out of you. Where modern, maybe I'm just newer in modern, but modern, not so much, and a 7, 8, 9, 10, to the naked eye, they look identical, where vintage, the lower grades, you need to look in great detail and spend a lot of time staring at that card. So I'm going to be vintage all the way at this show because of those reasons. But I know that stuff's there, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with Brian and Al, of course. But to see what they find, and if I find a 93 Finest Bo Jackson, I have a couple on my hit list that I would love to pick up. 94 Bo Jackson in the Angels uniform. Man, I'd love to have that card. So, but I won't be hunting them down.
Now, last year your wife made awesome turn back the clock cards and everything. Do you have anything that you prepared, or is it going to be a surprise? Do you have anything that you're bringing as far as to hand out or anything like that?
I've got coasters I made.
Nice.
Thanks to Mr. Fisher Bike. He did coasters. He sent me a coaster. He wasn't there last year, and I loved it. I still have both of them. So I got a whole stack of coasters. I got a bunch of stickers made. I still have a stack of the turn back the clocks. And then I'm also bringing a stack of those Ted Williams cards that Scott Reindeer Studios made. And I'm bringing those. But I'm also, my wife's going to design me this week a double-sided baseball card. One's going to be a modern card with me, and I'm not going to share what it is, but you guys could probably guess. And then one's going to be a vintage card, and one's going to be an Angels player, one's going to be a Yankees player. So it's going to be a front and back card. So yeah, I'm going to bring a sick custom card. I can't freaking wait. It's in my head. We haven't designed it yet, but definitely going to happen. And I can get it done quick because I'm just making a business card size, same as our Turn Back the Clock rounded corners, just really nice quality.
Are you bringing any of your slabs, any of your double D labeled cards?
Yeah, if any of you guys are out there and you run into me, as of now, I plan on bringing 30 or so, but I haven't sat down and graded the 30 I'm going to bring. So if I run out of time, I run out of time. But I have about 20 I'm bringing already that are ready. But I've got a lot of guys in our house that get first priorities, and then another house, the John 3D80s kid, Matt, Tyrus, Theo's, that house, they get priority. So that's about 20 of those. But I'm hopefully going to bring about 30 more, and those I'll be giving out. Run into me, whatever I got on hand, if I bring them to the show. If I don't, I'm just going to let people choose what they want. But heck yeah, I'm bringing some double D vintage graded slabs. Nice. And I also had a submission that was from John P. Collects. He sent me a Robin Yount rookie card. He wanted me to grade and put one of my slabs. So I'm going to be slabbing that up and presenting that to him. That's my second submission for double D vintage graded cards. Awesome. Both of them are Robin Yount. So I'm excited to give that back to him and grade it and all that. So yeah, that's what I got.
Well, after the National, I'm definitely sending you a card to submit you a card because I want one of those slabs.
Well,
I have the right one.
I have two on my desk that literally are that I made for you.
Okay.
They're in my box. I have I'm waiting till the last day, and I'm going to ship everything out before I leave. And then whoever isn't, because I wasn't know who's going and who wasn't. Anyone who's not going, I'm shipping the stuff out because I have quite a few gifts I've made over the last. You'll see because it's a low serial number because I've done like 200 and something. So yours is really low. And then one card I'm sending you that I need you to send back because I want it dual autograph.
Okay.
So,
perfect.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I want to before we go, I want to show you a couple cards.
Yes, please. Got to show.
I'm gonna get your thoughts on it. But anyway, this one's cool because as you know, I picked up the 72 Laughlin Josh Gibson card. Oh, I'm on.
We're back.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
I picked up the 72 Josh Gibson Laughlin card. I had no idea that they were going to do any of that stuff with the statistics or any of like. I picked it up. I don't know, a few weeks before that happened, and I didn't pick it up because it was like I think that card's going to go up in money someday. I just was like I always wanted to have a Josh Gibson card, and I saw that card in a card shop when I was a kid, and I always remembered the set and that card. So it's just I finally got one thanks to Ryan Nolan Breakout Cards. Part of me feels bad, because he sold me that card for. I think it was like a few $100 and it 10x like most of Josh Gibson's cards, like right after he sold it. So I actually haven't reached out to him after that, but I felt bad kind of, but
dude, what am
I going to do anyway? But the point is,
I am sure he made money too.
Yeah. At the same time, not to as large of a degree, but another card of Josh Gibson that I always loved as a kid. I love this set. You'll recognize it. And it's a card I saw it in a card shop again when I was a kid, maybe at the same point as I saw the other one, and then finally picked it up at the same time. This was a $2 card, and it's 10x, just like it's like $20, $30 card now. But you'll recognize this one.
Oh yes, I love that.
Baseball Immortals,
yes,
first printing, 1980 Josh Gibson. It's got the 75 tops design to it, TCMA, and it's a different looking card, but it's kind of fitting because, it's kind of a sad looking card, but he was a great player, but it's kind of a sad story, Josh Gibson, of what could have been. And he died young and all that. But I just always loved this look of this whole set and this card. So this was a $2 card. And now it's selling for like, I don't know, $30-$40. It's just weird.
It's insane.
All that
it's
time,
insane. Yeah.
I'd never thought that any card from that set would ever go up in price. It was always like a $1-$2 card, all those cards in there. And now you're seeing it for like $30-$40. It's just crazy that even happened with Josh Gibson. But I just picked it up because do
you have the Laughlin there? Do you have
What's
the
that?
Laughlin? Do you have the Laughlin next to you?
No, I just brought this one. I don't have the Laughlin, but
Yeah,
You know,
Josh Gibson, like that card, he's legendary. Like he was like almost not even human. He was so legendary
yeah,
because all we have were these stories. Then he became an alcoholic and died very young. And that drawing kind of reiterates as a kid. Like I remember seeing that card and like, who is this guy? And he was
right.
a legendary. I didn't know who he was. Like, who's this Josh Gibson guy?
Yep.
Until later I learned. It almost just makes it even more awesome because they didn't even use a photo of him. Like that's how legendary he was. Like
Yeah.
that's how he was so. And if there's anything that anyone could take from you, Adam, is that whatever Adam buys, everyone should buy because
No,
this guy,
no.
there's no one I know who's luckier buying a card and then it becoming worth a fortune in a matter of time than you. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, but I made some bad buys too that I don't talk about that much. With Kevin Durant, 2021, all this stuff. So believe me, I've made some stupid buys too. But yeah, I've gotten lucky a few times. Again, that's just total luck. You know, but again, I still have the Laughlin. So like, if I wasn't, I guess a collector, true collector, I don't even know what that means. But I'm not. I didn't buy it because I thought because I would have sold it already if that was my like. I'm going to buy that because it's going to be worth more money someday, and then a month later it's worth 10 times the amount of money. But I'm just holding it for the long term, and it will probably come back down to some new floor. But that's okay. You know, I bought it because I wanted to have it. So
yeah, I was super jealous. Like I sent you that link, or I was like, dude, that card is like 2,000, $3,000 raw now.
yeah. Yeah, and I probably like, you know, the smart move would be probably to sell it because it's not like, you know, I could probably get another one down the road if they come down, but yeah,
It's just
I
not
guess part
worth
of me is
that
too
as
lazy.
a collector, though, right? It's not worth
What?
that as a collector. Sometimes you're like,
Yeah.
the second you sell something that you truly love, you regret it instantly. Every card I ever sold, like I sold Jordan rookies way back. And the second I sold them, I was just like, because I was too scared to hold them because I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
But I had quite a few of them because they were $400 back then in eights. And I bought all those iconic cards, but I was so scared to hold some of them. But like later, I held on to quite a few. Like I had a Nolan Ryan PSA 6. I sold it like 7 years ago or 8 years ago. The second I sold it, I bought another one. The second it left my hands, I was like, dude, I felt sick. I was like, I got to buy another one. So I bought another one for $245 because I sold that one for like $900. Because I put it up so high that I thought no one would ever buy it. But then at some point it like hit that spot and I totally forgot it was even listed. And then I was like sickening. So I don't think as a collector it's worth like, oh yeah, I hit the timing of the market. You can't time markets. You can't. Just collect what you love to collect. And if it goes up, it goes down. It really doesn't matter in the end. You just enjoy the card the whole way.
That's a perfect example. Like, you know, you were joking when you said buy what Adam buys. That's obviously not true because anytime I've ever bought a card with in mind, like, oh, I'm going to buy this and I think it's going to go up, like Kevin Durant. I hate Kevin Durant. I never should have bought any of his cards. I only bought them because I thought he was going to win championships with the Nets. And I'm like, I'm going to buy his rookie and I'm going to sell it a year later. Anytime I've ever done that, it's gone down. Anytime, the only wins I've ever had were cards that I just bought because I wanted, and it just so happened they went up. So, you know, that's just kind of how it works.
Dude, you're so right. Okay, so every year for like the last probably 15 years, I always spend about $200 on a random rookie or random guy because I want to see what happens, and because it's like a gamble. It's fun. I lose every single time except for once. One time after Ohtani got hurt, I hit the jackpot because that time I had heard his stories the whole time. So I bought like $1,000 worth of his cards after he got hurt, after he was rookie of the year. Crushed it. But I bought a Fernando Tatis rookie. I bought a who's the molester? Wander Franco. I spent like $300 on his card. I sold it for $150 after he got busted. But I spent $300 on that. And I bought Pete Alonso's, which I still have. And then I did Alec Boehm 1 year. And those are finally where they're a little past what I paid at one time. And every year I spend about $200 on a random player. This year I haven't yet, but I will at some point. Last year I did Mookie Betts, or maybe it was the year before I bought his gold, and that's been fine. But every year, and I pretty much every single time I lose, because you're like, yeah, I'm buying this because you want to stay involved, and yeah, you think it's going to be worth more or you have a chance of it being worth more. Maybe I secretly didn't think it was going to be worth more, but maybe it's fun to be involved and buy these modern cards of these players playing, of the unproven players, not like the Trouts and things that are going to hold value. Even if they come down, they're still all-time greats. But like the random Wander Francos and, a couple other guys I bought, but like Pete Alonso, like you're taking a chance, but it does keep you involved. But I do always lose. That's why I don't buy. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Last card before we go, I wanted to show you. This is episode 33, so I had to show a Larry Bird card here, but I wanted to show you because this is one of the weirdest cards that I have of Larry Bird. You probably know this set. You ever heard of Topps Treasury Rip Cards? This is 2008 Topps Treasury Rip card. This is a Larry Bird. Just happens to be a PSA 10. I didn't grade this, but this is a card from 2008 basketball rip card. Rip this card open, it says on the back, and to discover a collectible Treasury mini card embedded inside. This is numbered to 299. Obviously, this one was never opened. This is like I think a pop one, because most people probably open these, right?
Yeah, they do.
I look at this and I'm like, man, I wonder what's in it. Like what's in this thing?
Adam, look, 2008. I bought I bought loads of boxes of Allen Ginter, but I've told this story before. I was at Frank and Sons with my buddy Danny, and there was one Allen Ginter box, and we were buying boxes like crazy. We had just spent like $800 each, and I'm like, are you gonna buy that box? Because we were both looking at it. We were walking out the door, and we saw this one Allen Ginter, and it was $100, and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, because if you don't, I'm gonna buy. Go ahead. Bought it. Anyone who wasn't driving opened up the packs on one box on the way home. So I opened that one up because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to rub this in. You didn't buy it. I bought it because he was going to buy it. Pulled a rip card, and it was a Pee Wee Reese number 250. I still have the card that I ripped it. Ripped it open. Inside was a one-of-one Evan Longoria, and Evan Longoria in 2008 was hot. And it was a one-of-one Dick Perez actual art card of the card that was on the poster of Allen Ginter that I had from the box. I sold it instantly for like $2,000 on eBay. Wow. But I'm telling you, you should crack that out right now, and we should rip that thing open, or at least on a future episode.
Maybe I can't do it right now. It's a PSA 10, Dylan.
Dude, how much did it cost you? A couple hundred?
Honestly, I'd have to. I could probably look back. Not that I don't think it was just like a click buy it now type whim thing. Like, what is that?
Dude, you'll still have the card because you can rip the back, and you might have something insane in there. I'm telling you, it's worth ripping open.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll future episode, definitely.
Yes.
Future
I'll
episode.
get some alcohol in you. We'll crack that thing open in a future episode. You heard it now.
The other one I want to do is I have a 1950 Drake's card in an SGC old slab. So John Mangini says they smell like oatmeal cookies. So I'm gonna live on a Turn Back the Clock with you. I'm gonna crack it open and see if it smells like John says they smell, like cookies.
I love it. That's a great idea. You can't see the card in those. Can't see the cards in those BGS holders, anyways. Yeah. Gotta free that thing.
All right. Well, Dylan, I know you got a lot of stuff to do before the National, a lot of things to get together. So I'll let you go. But send me some pictures or some videos from the National so I can stay in the loop somehow, so I don't feel so left out.
Thanks, Adam. Man, this was fun. And we'll be back with more consistent Turn Back the Clocks this year. We're really excited to talk cards. So thanks, Adam.
All right, Dylan. We'll see you when you get back.
Chaka.
All right.